Climate activists love to say, don't they, that the transition to a so-called zero carbon economy will create hundreds of thousands of new jobs and slash electricity prices. The problem is, of course, when you ask them, those same activists, how much it's all going to cost, they'll rarely give you a number. You get this blah, blah, blah about the cost of inaction. Well, maybe this is why. Rewiring Australia, a pro-renewables campaign group, has come out with a plan to electrify homes across the country, they say, by subsidising the uptake of electric cars, solar batteries, and environmentally friendly heating and cooking systems. So out goes your gas cooktop. Their plan, they say, could slash as much as $4,000 of household electricity bills, but not anytime soon. This windfall gain would be 14 years away at best, they say, 2035. And the price tag to get back $4,000, well, they want $12 billion now in taxpayer subsidies. National Senator Matt Canavan joins me now to weigh in. Well, $12 billion to maybe save a couple of thousand or 4,000 in 2035. No wonder these people don't want to ever get the details of any proposal out there, Matt. Surely Scott Morrison's going to tell them, send them packing.
Well, let's hope so, Peter, but you can hardly blame these renewable energy snake oil salesmen because they've been successful so far. This is their business model. Most other businesses before the renewables age would develop a better product, market the advantages of that product and have consumers come and buy them. So, for example, these Dyson vacuum cleaners have all come on the market last few years. I had to go buy one a few years ago. It cost me an arm and a leg, but they are pretty good and people like them. So they go and buy them. To my knowledge, they've never asked or received a cent of your money via this thing called the government. Whereas the renewables industry, they have gotten large. They have gotten big. They have put solar panels on people's roofs, all through getting subsidies. And we have a situation here in the renewable sector where other people are spending your money on other people. And that is always a recipe for disaster because you're never going to get things right. And you're going to always get these constant demands for more and more and more, just like Oliver Twist.
Well, talk to me about Forrest because he's come out swinging against the Morrison government today over plans to use fossil fuels to create blue hydrogen. He says it's a highway to climate disaster. Of course, he's backing a different hydrogen technology and he's got Malcolm Turnbull chairing his new company. What's the difference in an attack here?
Well, you can hardly blame a businessman for talking their book, and Twiggy's talking his book. I think it's really interesting to note here, though, Peter, the hypocrisy from Twiggy Forrest. In one day, in 24 hours, you've had Twiggy say there should be zero subsidies to carbon capture and storage for hydrogen projects. There should be zero subsidies for fossil fuels. There was also another story I noticed today where Twiggy Forrest is getting a subsidy from the government to build a gas-fired power station at Port Kembla. So over there in the West, Twiggy is against fossil fuel subsidies to hydrogen, presumably other projects. But over here in the East, at Port Kembla, he's more than happy to be the recipient of one. Peter, if only we could power Australia through hypocrisy, we'd never have another blackout again. The sign behind me says we still need coal for more than 60% of our electricity right now. You're only watching this on your TV screens thanks to coal. But if we could just bottle hypocrisy, put it in a can, chuck it out through electricity, well, the coal industry would go, we'd have the ultimate renewable energy resource. It comes from us from all over.
Well, talk to me about that's a very good point. I wish we could, but talk to me about nuclear. We've got another poll showing very strong public support for nuclear power. This is a news poll survey. 61% of Australians either support it or they're open to nuclear. Now, I don't understand why we can't have an adult conversation. I'm not asking the Prime Minister to bring it in. I'm just asking us to have an adult conversation because you've only got 27% now where people are a firm no. The PM ruled it out. I think you've got to go to the election with something more than just, we did better on the pandemic than we thought we would. And honestly, this idea that you've got to get bipartisanship to get nuclear done, if you wait for bipartisanship, we never had it on stopping the boats, Matt. We never had it on the GST. Anything worthwhile,
That's right.
I think it ordinarily is going to be a political fight. Why are you guys so scared of the fight?
Well, we, or me and my National Senate colleagues, are moving amendments in the Senate to the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act to remove the prohibition on nuclear energy in Australia. I'm buoyed by this opinion poll. I didn't do it. We didn't. Myself and Sam McMahon's been leading the charge on this up there in the Territory, and they've got great uranium resources there, and she's a great senator for that territory. We didn't do this because we ran a poll and decided, yep, the Australian people like this, let's do that. We did it because we think it's the right thing for our country right now to secure our energy supplies, to use some of the uranium we ship all over this overseas. And so we've moved those amendments. And I do think there's a sea change here. There's been a level of leadership here with more and more people speaking about nuclear power. The subs decision, I think, has probably had a big impact. Once we made the decision to have nuclear subs, people realised the importance of this industry, realised the importance of defending Australia, and that sort of thing leads to a sea change, as we're seeing here. So, yeah, I absolutely would encourage the government to be brave here. As you point out, I doubt John Howard and Peter Costello looked through the entrails of focus groups on the GST. It probably would have been pretty ugly if they did, but they went ahead with it because they had to lead, they had to have a narrative and a mission for the country to deserve re-election, and the rules are no different today.
All right, we'll leave it there, but we're expecting you inside the National Party because you've got the Trump card on the 2050 nonsense before the end of the year. You've got the Trump card. We expect the National Party, please, Matt Canavan, to play it. Thanks for your time.